Well, hello. Welcome to the last ever Life After 3D, episode 50. No clickbait, no bull. I'm not going to try to sell you something. There's some good reasons behind it, and it's also going to cover not just this series, but the channel as a whole. So there's a lot of stuff to go through, and if anybody themselves watching this and you run a YouTube channel, you're going to find this really interesting. I do have some notes here because there's a lot of important stuff I don't want to miss out, and it's a bit of a sad one really in many ways. But I started Life After 3D in February 2022. As I say, this is episode 50. I want to end on a nice round number, and in total, it's had about 10,600 views. Now, they range from 1 to 2,500, nearly 3,000 for one video. Lately, they've went down, averaging about 50 views. It's quite obvious that people are not interested, and I think part of that is due to the fact that my life changed. You'll have noticed there was very few Life After 3D videos in 2024. Why? Well, real life got in the way. Well, I'm not at liberty to go into too many details. Just to say a lot of stuff was going on and is still going on in my personal life, and that's taking up a heck of a lot of the time. So is the work that I do for the university, because I teach a master's in game art and design. So why am I getting rid of it? Is it just the views? No, it's never been about the views. This channel has been around for 19 years, since 2006. While some stuff got lots of views, the last few years it didn't. And I thought the algorithm wanted to push me into talking about AI and the development of AI. Now, I'm in two minds about AI. If it's ethically sourced, yeah, fair enough. For somebody like me with nerve damage in the hands, it's really good. It'd be useful. I still feel guilty when I use it, if that makes any sense. Because I never use AI stuff as it is. I always edit it, right, to make it the way I want it to be. But I know it's a hot subject and a bit of a hot potato, and I've said before, it's very divisive. It's one of those things that's a 50-50 split directly down the middle. And at my age in life, I'll be 54 this year, in May, I'm not in the habit of making any extra enemies. A lot of it, through the course of these videos, when I literally had to give up 3D, as something I did for work and to make money. And it was my search for something to bring an income. And there's been a lot of false starts. There was an amazing idea I had about doing t-shirts. I did that for a while. You know how many t-shirts I sold? None. Fucking zero. And that was the most annoying thing about all that, was the designs were really good, and the reason behind it was whenever I went to get t-shirts, because a lot of the time I don't dress in bright red when I'm going out, I'm dressing in black. Just think it's like elder goth sort of stuff, right? And no, you can't see photos. There was no decent t-shirts that I could get a hold of. There was some on Amazon, but they were a bit sort of teenage, you know what I mean? So, and I came up with my own designs. Did they sell? Did they fuck? I had an idea of moving into editing, which is why round about episode 32, the production quality went up, because instead of just using a crappy camera, I was using the cinema cameras that I've got now. There's 4 or 5 cinema cameras in the house. I'm using one for the close-up shot, one for the wide shot. That's all I need for this. There's no point setting things up too much. I'm sure you don't want a close-up on the side of my head or my nostrils or something. And because the reason for getting the cameras was I thought, well, I need something to edit. And then I ended up making documentaries and stuff like that. Now, I don't make them to make a profit. For example, the Not For Burning one I did on the fight against the concert incinerator, which, by the way, was won. That was won, by the way, completely. I didn't monetize that. I could have done, but I didn't. It's very easy to get things like that put on Netflix or Amazon Prime, but I didn't want it so that only some people could see it. Now, last year, I was going to do, in fact, at the end of 2023, I was going to do a short film. Life got in the way. I was going to do it in 2024. Life also got in the way. Then I lost all but one of the locations. So I'm thinking about it again, saying maybe later on this year, see if I can film it again. whether it'll be online or go to film festivals, depends how it turns out, to be quite honest. So let's go into more stuff about the channel. The main thing is the Google algorithm has shafted me up the backside in a way that you'd never seen before. Because you've got to remember, this channel, unlike many others, is not just about one thing. I'm a polymath. That means I am very good at more than one thing, right? So whether it's music, it's art, you know, filmmaking, other stuff, presenting, I've got a vast litany of skills, right? And I know that annoys some people. Get the fuck over it. It's what I am. Unfortunately, the algorithm used to be okay with that, and now it's not. So over the years, we had the Zbrush videos, which is where I started. They were regularly getting 50, 80, 100,000 views. There's some of them on the page you can still see. Then there was the Mudbox Quick Start series that did rather well. And I should point out the only money I've ever made off YouTube is about 50 quid in 19 years. It's not about the money. There's some Nuke tutorials. And of course, there's all the music and music videos and music performance and stuff from me and Gypsy Dave. My music videos, me playing, me trying to learn jazz, which I'm still trying to do, by the way. I'm getting a lot better. Now, people who have been watching this channel for a lot of years remember the Waynecasts. That was me walking around with a video camera that it looked like a phone, but it wasn't, right? It was this red Kodak thing that I had and I would carry it around. There was no stabilization. It was permanent wobbly cam, some very dodgy sound sometimes, but a lot of people really loved the Waynecasts. The trouble was, it was an exaggerated version of me. So it was me playing up all the most entertaining parts of me, which started to cause a problem because people thought that's who I was, that I was this certifiable lunatic ranting and raving all the time. I'm not. I have my days, don't get me wrong. You know, my wife can tell you all sorts of stories about my grumpiness, and that's just being a passenger in a car. She keeps saying I should make a video series of it. We haven't done that so far because I'll probably get arrested. That did really well, but I had to stop it because it was getting to the point that everybody saw me as that character, even people that I thought knew me better than that. And that started to take its toll on my mental health. Plus at the time, started work at Rockstar up in Edinburgh. And anybody who knows Rockstar Games knows their policy on saying absolutely anything ever, which I never have done. Because I know they still watch these videos and keep an eye on me every now and again. So, hello, hope you're all doing all right? I could ask you something, but I'm not going to, because I already know the answer. I still have a few friends. So yeah, I think a lot of the time, the way things are working in YouTube right now, nobody's making any money. Bearing in mind that I've deleted hundreds of videos. That was a very bad day mental health-wise. I'll do this to close up. Weenie Boy was having a very, very bad time with the depression. And anybody who knows me knows that I suffer from one hell of a case of imposter syndrome. And I came to the conclusion it was all shit, everything was shit. And these videos that were 6 months old or a year old or 2-year old, that they were shit, and it was making me look even worse. So I deleted the whole lot, hundreds of them in an afternoon. One of my biggest regrets. It also meant that the views on this channel, if you took that into account, would have went up to 2.7 million. Is what it is. I'm not perfect. So what's for the future? This is where it gets hairy. There'll be no more Life After 3D videos because my career is stable. I'm not rich, but we get by, the bills are paid, we don't have to worry about stuff like that. And to see, I do a Master's in Game Art and Design alongside some other lecturers, you know. That's bringing in quite a nice amount of money because I'm getting paid a London hourly rate, but I'm living in Concert. And anybody that knows Concert knows it's one of the cheapest places in the country. So it's like getting paid twice as much, which makes me very happy. What I'm going to do with the channel is there'll still be posts on this channel. I haven't set anything for the channel as a whole in stone yet. What I can tell you is it'll never get a lot of views because the algorithm sees this as a giant black hole. It's like there's videos I've put up on here that get maybe 40, 50 views. I put them up somewhere else, they're getting hundreds of views. So it's not down to the videos themselves, it's down to the algorithm, and people are simply not finding it. And it's so confused with all the things I've done over the years. It doesn't know what to do and what to promote. So I've already set up a couple of channels. There'll be one that's already there called The Jazz Hat, which is going to document my journey in learning jazz guitar, which will never stop. And also tips and tricks and things and bits of lessons things I've learned. The easy way of doing stuff, right? There is another one where a lot of the music stuff will start either being transferred to there, or I might just start it from now on there. There's a secondary music channel. There's a few other ideas, because one of the things, I was talking to a friend of mine last night. I went out for a drink with my mate Dan, and me and Dan have a drink a couple of times a week, and we have some mint conversations. And I have been saying for a while it would be great to do so a bit like a podcast, but not a podcast. You know, two guys around the table in the pub, just talking on whatever random stuff. Because I always use these sort of videos where I'm talking to the camera. It's like sort of free counselling, right? It gets me get all the stuff out of my head, and I pass it on to you. You don't really give a shit. You listen to it. It might be entertaining and all that, but it doesn't affect your lives. But it helps me move forward. So I need to do something with that. One of my plans was to do basically a channel covering sort of conspiracies and real crime and things like that. Conspiracy stuff, I've always been interested in that. But I've always viewed it in a very interesting way that, okay, let's see what they're saying, and let's see if it's actually true or not. Is it true, or is it all bull? A lot of the time it's bull. Sometimes you come across something and go, interesting. So maybe that, I don't know yet. So the channel, there'll be some uploads. You will never see another Life After 3D. Even if I lost my job, I might do a video blog every now and again to keep people, you know, in the loop. I don't know. But although the channel has 3,000, let's have a look, 3,373 subscribers at the moment of recording, that sounds a lot. It's not, right? It's really not. And I'll tell you why. Remember me saying the channel's been around about 19 years, since 2006. A lot of these subscribers are from back then. They're all from back then. Well, a lot of them are. Well over 2/3. And a lot of those accounts don't exist anymore. So while part of me is loath to leave behind 3,373 subscribers on this channel, that's a false number. It doesn't really exist. Most of those accounts are inactive now. And there's no way of finding out what the actual number is, as far as I'm aware. I would say there's no more than about 200 people that are active on this channel, which is not enough. And that means I'm better off starting from scratch, even if that means I've only got 5 views. At least I know it's 5 real views. It is sad, but as I say, Life After 3D's ran its course. I've found the way forward. Yeah, it's sort of doing more hours with the teaching. And the filmmaking is more me making things I want to make. It's not there for money. In winding up, I hope you've enjoyed the Life After 3D series. If you're watching this weeks, months, years later, and you found it, and you've just lost your job in 3D, and you don't know what to do, start at the beginning. It's an interesting journey. It shows you what it was really like for me on the ground, right? And you're bound to take some stuff away from it. So my best advice to anybody who has lost or is losing the job in the world of 3D is don't believe everything you see on YouTube. Don't believe when somebody says, there's this great way of using AI to make these designs for colouring books. Already been done. If it's on YouTube, it's already been done. All of it. So you've got to come up with something unique. And you better come up with something that nobody else has done before that has a good niche. Right? That's the best advice I can give you. And when it comes to learning 3D, as I say to the students, keep learning. Keep getting feedback. Learn from the best you can. Get feedback from the best you can, even if it hurts. That's important. Don't be like when I first started out, the first 5 or 10 years, I wouldn't listen to anybody. And that's why it took me longer to get where I needed to go. Because I would not listen. So if you're young, take the feedback. Yes, you might have anxiety. I did. Post anyway, right? Because if you don't get the feedback from the professionals, you will not know what you are doing wrong. And as I always say to students, if you get feedback from somebody, I don't know, let's say it's somebody at Blizzard, right? They may be replying to threads on polycount in their dinner hour. So they don't have time for politeness. They'll be straight to the point. It's not because they're being nasty, they're only there to try and help, and they're doing it out of the goodness of their heart, right? So, in closing, There'll be a video at some point on here outlining some of the channels that are starting. Hopefully, get some of you going those directions, right? Because I'll be stupid fucking not to. But I hope you all took something from this, even if it was just entertainment, right? And I will move forward as best I can. Keep your eyes out for stuff like the other channels. I might upload some random stuff that goes into the channels here. I don't know. A lot of it depends on where my head's at the time. So I'll see you all whenever. There'll be a video popping up here probably. You know what? I'm not going to put one up. There'll be no little tag video going in the corner there like there normally is. There might be a subscribe thing hovering around the corner, one here or the other. That'll be it. So I'll see you on the flip side. I hope you've enjoyed it. My name is Wayne Robson, age 53 and a half. Slightly mad. Not as mad as you'd think. I'll see you all whenever. Bye-bye.